Osmosis system. Upstairs, we've already tested the water to see how the TDS is. TDS stands for total dissolved solids. We just checked to make sure. So this customer, going back to the beginning, this customer collects their rainwater. So their water coming out, their TDS coming out of the RO was a 5, and the tap water treated after the UV system here, and then the tannin filter, their water was a 50 TDS coming out of their tap. So take 45 divided by 50, we have 90% reduction, which is stating that the system is in great shape. So before I came downstairs here, we have 2 lines. One is the feed for the RO, the other 1/4 inch line is the drain for the RO, and then we have a line that goes up, which is a 3/8 line that goes to the faucet. So I've already shut off the water feed to the system. I've already shut the tank off. The tank valve is closed. Show you what the tank valve looks like when it's in the closed position. That is in the closed position. It is not in line with the tube, so that means that it is closed right now. So I have the tank closed, and I've released the pressure off the faucet. So now we can go about doing our filter change here.
Would you say that because they collect rainwater and have the tannin removal, the UV not that much, but maybe their membrane would take like more than 5 years?
Yes. Yeah.
Have a longer life because of the prefiltration?
Yeah, exactly. They got a lot of pre-filtration ahead of time. So yes, the membrane will last longer, because the biggest thing that will destroy a membrane is chlorine. So since they do not have a lot of chlorine in this house, due to the fact that they don't have city water coming in, and they have the pre-filtration with the Viqua system here, the big 4x20 carbon filter, plus even the carbon filter here, the 2x10 carbon on the high efficiency reverse osmosis system, the likelihood of their system needing a new membrane will be quite a while. This system was installed in 2019, for an example. So we are going into our 7th year, and the membrane is still running at 90% reduction, which is amazing. So all right, so we're gonna get ourselves set up here. I use a paint tray all the time. It's a lot easier than trying to use a big bucket. Our filter wrench here. I'm just gonna put this down. Use the filter wrench up high, lefty loosey. I place the towel down on the ground to catch any drips, and we can loosen this one off here. By holding a paint tray right underneath, you're able to catch 90% of the drips. So with reverse osmosis, it's a slower form of filtration compared to these big high flow systems. So even though this particular customer has all that pre-filtration, their sediment filter still looks like this. And the reason is that it's a slower flow of filtration, so it tends to pick up some of the finer particles. This again is a 5 micron, even though we had a 20 to 5 here, this 5 micron. So even though some customers say, well, I change this all the time, I don't need to change my RO filters. Well, this is the reason why. These were all changed at the same time. This needs to be changed at the same time as well. So we're going to remove that filter. And we're going to clean out the housing. Use some clean paper towels. My left hand seems to be smaller than my right, so maybe I'll actually put my hand inside this housing. If you are unable to do that, maybe a bottle brush with a bucket of water, fresh water that is. Clean it out nice. Make sure it's nice and clean. There we go there. It's nice and clean. We use a food grade hydrogen peroxide here to sanitize the inside of the housing. I'm also going to give the cap of the filter housing a wipe down as well. Everybody looks at what's down on the ground, but they don't look at what's underneath here, especially with an RO with the finer filters. You can see a little bit of dirt and sediment there. Give that a shot of the hydrogen peroxide. A household hydrogen peroxide, one you can get from the dollar store, will work just as fine. Do not use a chlorine or a bleach product in this particular case, because this is your drinking water. This is then would leave as foul taste in your water. Put the filter back in. This way you don't mess up your order. Hand tight only at this time. Next wrench. Next one is your carbon filter. Once again, it is a 2x10 carbon filter. Dump that one out. Nothing special with that filter. Just looks like a wet 2x10 carbon. Once again, clean the inside of the housing. We saw how that sediment filter looked. There's a little bit of discolor on the inside here. We do have a little bit of sediment that is transferred through the sediment filter and into the carbon. When that does happen, it actually restricts the ability of the carbon to do what the carbon's job is, which is to remove the chlorine in the water before the membrane. But we already know that we've already removed that, but it just does restrict the ability of the carbon to do what it can if the sediment filter is in rough shape. But
That's why you should change your filters every year,
yes,
especially if you don't have a prefiltration. To make
absolutely. There, gave it a shot of that hydrogen peroxide. Nice fresh carbon filter. In it goes. Just hand tight at this time. At this time, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove the tank and I'm going to start to drain the tank. These are what we call John Guest fittings. They're very much like what the common brand name a lot of people hear about is Shark Bite. Shark Bite requires you to push back the outermost collar, push that back, and then you're able to remove the tube. Very hard to see for me to do it here, but I'm going to push this collar in while pulling the tube out. And just the way that all the plumbing is here, you probably won't be able to see a single thing that I'm doing, but I have now removed the tube from there. Slide it out through these tube straps here that I have. I'm now going to take this tank off of here and drain it while we continue. Happen to have a sump pump right here where I'm going to drain this into. And you're getting the best side of me right now. So we'll open that tank and let that drain out while we go to the next one here. So our last filter here, it's actually really not a filter. We can't really call it a filter. It's what I would call a polisher. And this one, after the reverse osmosis water has been produced, goes into the storage tank that we just disconnected. And then when you call for water, as in turn on the faucet, it travels through this last carbon polisher, carbon filter. It looks the exact same as the last one that we just removed. But what it does is it cleans up the taste of the water, making sure that your water is going to taste nice and fresh. Once again, clean out the inside of that filter housing as well. Our RO tank is still draining at this time into the sump pump. Clean this out. Nice and clean. That's what the inside looks like. And clean the cap as well. Making sure that there's nothing there. I'm gonna give it a shot of peroxide again. Place this in. Make sure you remove all the plastic. There's no plastic left behind. In it goes.
This one has a side to put, like the 4x20,
No.
or it doesn't matter.
So these filters here, as in the sediment filter, the same as the polypropylene dual gradient sediment filter. There's holes at the top and the bottom. Whenever you see a particular filter like this, where you can actually see all the way through it, that represents that there is no top or bottom to them, that they are universal. You can go either way with them. The only time if you cannot see through the filter, then there must be a directional arrow on them stating which direction they should be placed in. And usually, like we had on the granular activated carbon, there's usually a screen mesh along the bottom, and that would indicate the bottom. And then the top would be kind of closed, but similar to this. And then that would be the exit point. Just hand tight at this time. There we go. I only do them hand tight at this point, because then I'm going to get the filter wrench and I'm going to tighten them all at one time. That way I know I got them all. Not excessive force, a little snug, complete. Don't need two hands on those. And the tank is now finally emptied, so we can check the pressure on the tank now. Get my pump. Stuff. This fan does not look important. We can remove this fan. That's what we'll do. So now I'm just going to plug in my compressor. This is a simple compressor that you can, some people have in the back of their car for emergency situations. You had a simple bicycle pump, which works just as good. Just going to plug it in, get it ready. Don't even know if we need it just yet, but then at the bottom of the tank here, we have an air valve here where we are about to check our air pressure. Just going to remove that, just like a simple bicycle tire, car tire. This particular pressure gauge is for lower pressure. This only goes up to 60 psi, but it has bigger numbers, easier to read. And what we're going to be looking for is 10 psi. And right now, this customer has it at about 7. So we're just going to add a little bit of air to it. Put the nozzle on, set my setting, and turn it on. Going to confirm correct air pressure, make any adjustments. Nope, came out perfect, 10 pounds. I'm going to put the screw back on, and I'm going to close the tank right now. I did not dip this in the sump pump water, but it is a good idea to sanitize the end of it right now. There we go. Tank is nice and light now. When it's full, it's about 30 pounds. When it's empty, maybe about 5 or more. Slide it through my tube clips here, back to the RO system. And then with those fittings, you just push the tube in. There we go. Now at this point, I have to go upstairs to turn the water back on. But we have completed the reverse osmosis filter change here. And right now we're going to turn the water back on, check for pressure, make sure there's no leaks here. Once we know that it's done, it's actually fully up to pressure, then we can open up the tank. But I usually wait until this gets up to full pressure. You don't hear any more water flowing through it. Then I open the tank and then flush. I usually flush about 3 liters of water before I exit the house.